Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for everybody. They are for all of us, all over the place, wherever you are checking in from on the globe. This is kind of like a general overview, general energy trend or theme for the week ahead. So sometimes world events will come up, as you probably saw last week. Sometimes it will literally just be, kind of like a spiritual motivational message for us on the ground. And very often it's a mixture of all of the above. So with that said, I better pick some decks. All right, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, let's see where we're at. But before we get into that, the intuitive message this week was a very interesting one. So when I went into my intuition, the first thing that I saw was this big beautiful black butterfly with white spots on it. Now, as everybody knows, butterflies always mean some form of transformation. In the old Greek language, the word butterfly actually came from the word psyche, which actually means soul or spirit, if you like. They believed that when people passed over, their soul would turn into a butterfly, which is actually a really beautiful idea and a very interesting one, given that their lifespan of a butterfly is actually really small, right? So this is kind of like, in a sense, they believed it was the intermediary. So once the soul left the body, it transformed into a butterfly, and then on its short journey, while it did whatever it did, they then transcended onto something else. What's interesting though is, as I saw the butterfly, it then turned into a stingray. So I did some digital bibliomancy, i.e. Googling, because again, not a symbol that I'm necessarily very familiar with. I do know it as a water creature, an ocean creature. What I can tell you is that for all of their beauty and grace, they can actually be quite dangerous. And the way that they approach things is very silently, serenely, but when they're ready, they will go in. Which I find very, very interesting. And one of the messages from the stingray was not to allow drama to sway you from your path. So as I was looking at this, the words that came to me were own adversity and transform darkness, right? So that's the owning the adversity part came from the stingray, transforming the darkness obviously came from the butterfly. So this week, those are the two intuitive messages that I got, and you need to find a way to apply that to your own life. Where is it that those words, that those ideas and concepts speak to you in your soul, in your psyche? All right, so with that, let's get into it. For the destiny card, for the overarching energy trend or theme for this week, we have the Empress, right? Okay, so it's going to be a slightly easier week than last week. To be honest with you, I don't think we could have another week like last week, so touch wood, anytime soon. But this Empress, right? So first of all, on a microcosmic level, this week, check in with your mum, check in with your grandma, check in with the important women in your life, because in some way, shape or form, not only is there support there, but it does very often suggest to me that in some way that maternal energy and or instinct will offer you the cover or the sanctuary that you need. Now, on a destiny level, sort of on a wider macrocosmic level, this is a card of abundance and blessings, but it's also a card of beauty. And this really does suggest to me that this week, looking for the beauty in all things, whether they are challenging, whether they are lessons or blessings, right? This is the week where you're going to have to look beyond what you see, look beyond the facade, and deal with whatever it is that is in front of you or comes up. So let's get into the direction cards. How might we use or tap into this Empress energy? And obviously the Empress is Venus as well, right? So there is this kind of energy this week where we get to harmonize or transform in some way, shape or form whatever we have experienced over the last week, which I'm pretty sure for everybody in some way was quite substantial. All right, so the first card out, we have the Ten of Swords. Okay, then the Strength card, okay, and the Chariot, right? So in a lot of ways, so with the Ten of Swords and the Empress, this is in a lot of ways for me, this suggests bringing an end to, and I put this in my weekly email. If you don't get my weekly email, check out the link in the description box below so that you can start getting those on a Monday. And in there, I put a line that I'd heard just recently that really spoke to me. This Ten of Swords coupled with the Empress, it reminds me of that quite powerfully. Sometimes even the light has to clench its fists. That really spoke to me. It really struck a chord. And what this kind of suggests to me, all right, so this could be where something of the nature that women have been fighting for, pushing for, hoping for, may come to an end or may see a conclusion of some sort. With the Strength card, this, especially with the Empress card, this is in a lot of ways, it's about finding the true beauty in a situation, right? And then we've got the Chariot card, which suggests that the outcome will be satisfactory, but because we've got the Strength card and the Ten of Swords there, it's not going to be without its challenges, right? So this week, the direction energy, or how we best tap into the Empress, is realizing that sometimes the passive way of doing things isn't enough. Sometimes we have to get active. Sometimes we have to stand up. Sometimes we have to roar. Sometimes we have to shout. Sometimes we have to scream, or sometimes even the light has to clench its fists. Now, that being said, we have the Insight cards. What might we need to know? What is it that's going on behind the scenes that possibly we need to be aware of this week? All right, and the first card out is the Tower card. Of course it is. The Eight of Cups. Okay, slightly better. And the Ace of Cups. All right, nice. Right, so this suggests to me whatever it is that took place over the course of the previous week, the 11th to the 17th, the root of your abundance, your growth, your elevation is already in the fertile soil, right, which is the Empress, and has a chance to grow. The Tower card with the Eight of Cups suggests walking away from a shock or a conclusion, or sidestepping it in some way, shape or form. With the Ace of Cups present as well, this suggests to me that whatever challenges have arisen over the last week, or may even arise over this week, are definitely surmountable. All right, and this tells me that in a lot of ways, kind of like that stingray energy, right? I'm more inclined to use the Muhammad Ali way of doing things, right? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And it kind of feels like that, right? This is a week where really finding ways to transform whatever comes up is going to be very important. And sometimes the best way to do that is to withdraw silently. Oh God, there's so many things that I want to say, and now and here is not the time for them. So I will leave you with that. I truly hope this helps you in some way, shape or form. It's going to be an interesting week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.